Hey Crocrastinators, welcome or welcome back. I'm Maggie and this is Maggie May Crochet. In this video, I'm going to show you how to crochet the Drunken Granny stitch. Many of you requested that I do a tutorial after I showed this wrap that I made in my Frida Kahlo video, and I'm happy to do that today. So I will be showing you basically just how to do the stitch, and you can use it to create just about anything that you desire. For example, I made the wrap. I've also made this scarf. I have not yet made a baby blanket, but I think a baby blanket would be gorgeous using this stitch. It's just a really fun and easy stitch. So one of the really nice things about the Drunken Granny stitch and crochet in general is that you can change up the look of what you're making by changing the yarn that you use, the colorway, the hook size. Let me show you what I mean. So the wrap that I made, I used a 4mm crochet hook. This yarn is a 1-weight yarn. It's called a string. It is from Mandala. I'll read you the specifics on it. It's a Mandala string. It comes in a 3.5 ounce or 100 gram skein. That's 350 yards or 320 meters. It's 100% acrylic, which was surprising to me because I felt like this yarn looked an awful lot like cotton, but it's actually acrylic yarn. It works up like a cotton yarn. So it recommends using a 4mm crochet hook, which is what I used for this wrap. Okay, now let me just say, using such a thin yarn, you're going to need to do a lot more crocheting than if you were to do something like this. This scarf was made with red heart bitty stripes in, this was the colorway rainbow. This was a 1 skein project. I liked how quickly it worked up, and it measures 7 inches wide by 72 inches or 6 feet long. And I think that turns out to be just the perfect size scarf. My wrap was 24 inches wide by 66 inches long. So as you're making things like scarves or wraps and you're wondering, well, I don't know what size to make this, how big to make it, there is a little formula to help you. You keep in mind the measurements of your recipient, and you would make, for example, the length of your scarf or your wrap the same as the recipient's outstretched arms are. And another little tidbit for you, that happens to also be, they say, the same height as you are. So my wrap wound up being 5 feet 6 inches long, which is how tall I am. And the width, though, I made 24 inches because I didn't want it to be a scarf, I wanted it to be a wrap. My scarf is 7 inches wide, which is the same size as my outstretched hand, thumb to pinky, and then the length, I actually did let it go a little longer than 5 feet 6 inches because I wanted it to be a little extra long for wrapping around my neck, and I wanted to use up the whole skein. All right, so I'm going to bring the camera around to my table here and I will show you how to do the Drunken Granny stitch. Okay, so for this demonstration, I'm going to be using a 4-weight worsted weight yarn. This is Bitty Stripes by Red Heart. The Lion Brand Mandala string yarn is just a little bit too thin, I think, to be seen well for tutorials. And I'm going to use the recommended hook size, which is a 5.5mm. You're going to start by creating your foundation chain, and that chain can be just as long or short as you want, as long as it's done in multiples of 5. At the end of your chain, you're going to add 4 for your turning chain. So for my demonstration, I'm going to chain 30, and then I'm going to add 4 to that to give us 34. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 29, 30, and then I'm adding 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so next we're going to be placing our stitches into our chain, working our way back. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. You can place your stitches into the front of your chain. You see these V's here. This is the front of your chain. Or if you turn it over, you see these little bumps on the back. I prefer placing my stitches into these back bumps because when you do that, you'll end up with a much neater edge. So that's just my preference. You can do it either way. So we're going to be making clusters of 4 double crochets, 2 chains, and a double crochet. So we're going to place our first stitch into the 5th chain from our hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to turn our work over and make a double crochet. To make a double crochet, you're going to yarn over and place your hook into your chain. Yarn over, pull your yarn through that chain. I'll have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through the first 2 loops on my hook. That leaves 2. Then I'll yarn over and pull through those 2. That's a double crochet. I'm going to place 3 more into this very same chain. Yarn over, place my hook into the chain, yarn over, pull through. 3 loops are on my hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. 2 loops are left, yarn over, pull through those 2. That's 1, 2 double crochets. Yarn over, place the yarn into my chain, yarn over, pull through. 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I have 1, 2, 3 double crochets. My next one, yarn over, place my hook into the chain, yarn over, pull through. 3 loops are on my hook, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, 2 loops left, yarn over and pull through those. So now I have my 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to place 1 more double crochet into that very same space. Yarn over, my hook goes into my chain, yarn over, pull through. 3 loops are on my hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, 2 are left, yarn over, pull through the last 2. All right, so next we're going to place this same cluster, but we're going to go into the 6th chain from this one. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the 6th chain, we're going to do this all over again. We're placing 4 double crochets, 2 chains, and a double crochet. Yarn over, place our hook into our chain, yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We'll do it again. That's 1, 2, I need 2 more. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets, 2 chains, and a double crochet. All right, now we're going to count 5 and into the 6th, do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into our 6th, yarn over. 4 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, 1, 2, and another double crochet. All right. Now as you're doing this, you're gonna see that your chain's really getting stretched out here and your work's gonna be kind of floppy in your hands. Don't worry about it. This is our first bit, the foundation chain, and it's always gonna be a little more fiddly. But once we start getting our stitches placed and our rows are just gonna flow from here out, and it gets really, really easy. So just kind of be patient and take your time and work through this foundation and first row, and it gets much easier. Okay, we are counting into the 6th chain. We're going to place our stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the 6th. We're making our cluster. Yarn over, place our hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through those first 2, yarn over, pull through the second 2. We're doing this 4 times. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, 1, 2, and 1 more double crochet into that same space. All right. Now into the 6th chain from this last one we worked, we're doing that again. So coming up to our last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the 6th. Now we're going to place on the very last stitch just a double crochet. Yarn over, place your hook into that last stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so we end with a double crochet. So here is our row 1, foundation chain, row 1. Okay, so for row 2, we're going to chain 3 and then work our way back in the other direction. So we'll chain our 3, 1, 2, 3. And what I like to do right at this point is into that 3rd chain, I'm going to place a stitch marker. That way when we come back, that's going to identify for us where we're going to place our last stitch, okay? So chain 3, turn our work. Now we're going to do that same sequence into each of these spaces here, our chain 2 spaces on our way back. So our sequence again was 4 double crochets, chain 2, and a double crochet. So we're placing 4 double crochets into this first chain 2 space. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, double crochet. Okay, now we're going to reach over into the next chain 2 space, and we're going to do that all over again. Yarn over, 4 double crochets, chain 2, and a double crochet. Reach over to the next and do our Drunken Granny cluster. That's it, guys. That is all there is to making the Drunken Granny. 2, okay, so for our last one, we're going to place it instead of into this gap, because that's going to kind of make our work look kind of, I don't know, not very neat. You're going to want to try to find the top of this turning chain here, okay? So we're going to go back and look at our tops here of our double crochets. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our top of our turning chain. I did not place a stitch marker there, and I should have before. So really, if you get in the habit of placing a stitch marker on either side at the top of your turning chains, that's going to help you know where to place your final stitch. So our last stitch here is going to be just a double crochet. Okay, so into the top of our turning chain here, we're going to yarn over, and I would place my hook, again, not into this gap here because that's going to look too loose. You want to put it into the chain itself and try to get 2 strands of your yarn on there, okay? That's going to just help make a nice, secure, straight side. So we've got our 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that ends the second row. So to begin row 3, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now I'm going to place my stitch marker into the top of that turning chain, or the third chain there. Turn my work, and we're just going to repeat that whole thing all over again, going back into each of these big chain 2 spaces. That's where we're going to place our cluster. 4 double crochets, chain 2, and a double crochet. Oopsie. Double crochet. Oh. All right, we'll continue this on. I will meet you at the end and show you one more time how we turn to go into our next row. All right, so we're coming up to our last stitch of row 3, and we want to place 1 double crochet into the top of this turning chain from the second row. So you remove your stitch marker, you can see that it was marked. That's where we're placing our stitch, grabbing 2 legs of that stitch and placing a double crochet there. We'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn our work, place a stitch marker into that third chain, and we're just going to keep on repeating our sequence, okay? Just back and forth until this is as long as you like. So something that happens every now and again as you're doing this stitch is you'll forget to do your chain 2 and double crochet. You see I did it right here. You can see I've got my 4 double crochets, chain 2, double crochet. I've got 4 double crochets here, and I forgot my chain 2 double crochet. It happens. But I'm going to show you what you can do so you don't have to frog your work all the way back to where you found your mistake. Let me go ahead and get to that point. I'm going to do my cluster right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, don't forget that double crochet. All right, so now I'm coming over and I'm looking for my gap to place my stitches, and I don't have it. So the cheat is to just go into this space after your first double crochet and pretend that that's your gap. Now, if you're a perfectionist, you might not want to do this. I consider myself to be quite the perfectionist. But let me tell you what, when it came to frogging this big piece with those tiny little stitches, I got over that real quick. I just decided to fudge it a bit. It didn't happen too often in my work, but it's in there. I challenge you to try to find it though. That's the nice thing about this stitch, is it's very forgiving. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, and my double crochet. All right, and then I'm just going to keep on going like it never happened. And unless you are searching it out, you won't see it. All right, so you can see here, this is where I did my little fudge, and honestly, it's hardly noticeable. You probably won't even see it. Don't worry about it, okay? Just kind of move along, keep going. Nobody will notice. I just want to show you the difference in how your work can look with the different weights of yarn, with the different colorways, and just the different look that you get completely. This is the same thing, but again, it doesn't really look very similar because of the yarn weight. This is also a very pretty stitch if you choose a solid color, especially with a very soft cotton, a lightweight cotton to make a baby blanket. It's a gorgeous baby blanket. All right, so let me show you how to finish off your edge now. Okay, so let's say now that my piece is as long as I want it to be. I can choose to either end it now. By doing that, I'll have a scalloped edge on my ending row, and my beginning row here is going to be more straight. It was my foundation chain. I can leave it like that, or I might choose to even up this top scallop so that it matches more like this straight edge here. Maybe you want to put a border around your work, but this is a good way to kind of give you a more straight edge. So you'll chain 3 like we always do at the end of our work. We're going to turn it, and now we're going to place a series of single crochets and chains across to kind of link everything across the top here, okay? So into our first gap space, we're going to place a single crochet. We're going to chain 1, and then into the middle of our scallop here, the top of our scallop, kind of the second double crochet in, we're going to place a single crochet. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to go into our gap space again with a single crochet, chain 1. We're going to go to this top of our scallop, or the second double crochet, with a single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to go into this gap space here, our chain 2 space. Chain 1, we're going to go to the top again of our scallop, or the second double crochet, make 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, reach over into our chain 2 space, make a single crochet, chain 1, go to our second double crochet, make a single crochet, chain 2, reach over to our gap space here, chain 1, top of our double crochet, chain 2, and we're going to place a double crochet into the top of this stitch here to kind of bring everything up to the same level. Okay, so that kind of squares things off for us and gives us a straighter edge to match the bottom. So when you're choosing your color for your wrap or your scarf, keep in mind the way your color changes if you use a variegated yarn. This yarn, the mandala string yarn, the color changed pretty frequently. So I chose to make my foundation chain along the width of my piece, because I knew it was going to change colors quite often. If I had done it along the length this way, I wouldn't have my first row, for example, all one color. It would have changed colors through there, so that's going to change the way your piece looks. If I had the time to do another one, what I'd like to try is using like this mandala. This is, I guess it's just plain out mandala yarn, but it has a color change, but it's a lot less frequent. In fact, it kind of flows from one color to the next. So using a yarn like this, if I had started on the shorter end, I would have much bigger pieces of the color, so I wouldn't see as many color changes. But if I used this yarn and I made my wrap with the length side first, in other words, the longer side first, I would have enough of the length to let that color flow better. So I think this would make a really, really pretty one, having the stripes going the other direction. I'm not sure that's making sense. I really wish I had the time to do another one I would show you. Maybe I'll save this for another wrap using a different stitch to kind of demonstrate what I mean. But that's something to keep in mind. The look of your work is going to definitely change depending on which way your color flows or how long it is between your color changes. Okay guys, so that about wraps it up on our Drunken Granny wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If so, please give the video a like, and if you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. It helps support the channel and it helps motivate me to put out more videos for you. And if you have a suggestion for a video you might like to see in the future, please drop it in the comments section below. Thanks again for watching. I really do enjoy our time together, and I hope to see you again soon.